Rock stars are known for their wild energy and larger-than-life personalities, but some took their behavior way too far. From backstage meltdowns and feuds to outrageous demands, these musicians gained a reputation for being impossible to work with. Their wild attitudes often crossed the line, turning fame into infamy. So buckle up, we're counting down 20 rock stars who truly earned the title of the biggest jerks in the industry, thanks to their infamous behavior and unforgettable feuds. At number 20, we start with Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter was a big name in the 1970s UK glam rock scene. His energetic song Rock and Roll became popular at sports events around the world. His flashy shows and shiny outfits made him a huge star. He ruled the glam rock scene, but behind the sparkles, he hid a terrible secret. In 1997, everything came crashing down. A technician repairing Glitter's computer discovered thousands of child abuse images and immediately called the police. He was convicted in 1999 and sentenced to 4 months in prison after pleading guilty to 54 charges. His career and reputation were destroyed overnight. After his release, Glitter escaped from Britain. He bounced from Spain to Cambodia to Vietnam, always one step ahead of authorities and public outrage. But in Vietnam, justice finally caught up with him. In 2006, he was convicted of sexually abusing 2 young girls, aged 10 and 11. When he returned to the UK, authorities arrested him again as part of the investigation launched after the Jimmy Savile scandal. In 2015, he was found guilty of historical crimes from the 1970s, including the attempted rape of a young girl and sex with a girl under 13. He was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Glitter has never shown any remorse for his crimes. When he became eligible for parole in 2024, the request was denied. His music has since been pulled from radio stations and sporting events, and his name now stands as a symbol of the darkest kind of predatory behavior. At number 19 is Lars Ulrich. He's the co-founder and drummer of Metallica, a band that's ruled heavy metal for more than 40 years. Under his lead, Metallica released Master of Puppets, a record that redefined the genre and turned the band into rock legends. But Lars isn't just known for his drumming. He's known for being loud, opinionated, and always in control. He handled most of the band's business moves, but his blunt, take-charge attitude often rubbed people the wrong way. That side of him hit the spotlight during the Napster controversy. When Metallica's unreleased song I Disappear leaked online, Lars went to war with the Napster file-sharing service. He became the face of a massive lawsuit, even turning in a list of over 300,000 users to get them banned. To a lot of fans, it looked like a bunch of rich rock stars suing the people who made them famous. It didn't sit well. After all, Metallica's early rise came from fans trading bootleg tapes. The backlash was brutal. Fans smashed their CDs, trashed the band online, and turned their anger straight at Lars. From that point on, he wasn't just Metallica's drummer. He was the guy everyone loved to hate. Next up, at 18, we have Eddie Van Halen, a guitar master who changed rock music forever. Eddie Van Halen is one of the most innovative guitarists of all time. His tapping technique and revolutionary sound made Van Halen one of the biggest bands in the world. But his genius was often overshadowed by his difficult personality, fueled by struggles with alcoholism. He had legendary feuds with both of the band's iconic singers, David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, over creative and personal differences. But his cruelest treatment was reserved for bassist Michael Anthony. For years, Eddie publicly downplayed Anthony's contributions, claiming he had to show him what to play. He eventually cut Anthony's royalty payments and replaced him in the band with his own son, Wolfgang. Anthony's friendship with Sammy Hagar during a band breakup was seen as a betrayal, causing years of trouble for him. Van Halen's guitar work is legendary and always will be, but the way he treated his bandmates left a bad taste in many fans' mouths. Some straight up think he was a jerk. Coming in at 17, we have Gene Simmons. He's known as the Demon, and his offstage ego and greed have certainly earned him the title. Gene Simmons co-founded Kiss and turned the band into one of rock's biggest theatrical spectacles. But Simmons was driven purely by greed and ego. He's bragged about sleeping with thousands of women and treating relationships like business transactions. His objectification of women became as legendary as it was disgusting. He relentlessly pushed Kiss merchandise. Simmons put the Kiss logo on everything from coffins to condoms, turning rock and roll into a shameless cash grab. He even attempted to trademark common hand gestures and phrases, suing anyone who used similar imagery. His treatment of original bandmates Ace Frehley and Peter Criss was cold and ruthless. He fired them when they became inconvenient, showing zero loyalty to the people who helped build Kiss. He regularly bashed them for their struggles with addiction while taking all the credit for the band's success. Simmons openly admits he doesn't care if people think he's an asshole. He even named a solo album exactly that. He's stated that money is his only motivation and makes no apology for it. Next, at number 16, we have Chuck Berry, the father of rock and roll. Chuck Berry created the foundation of rock music with classics like Johnny B. Good and Roll Over Beethoven. His guitar riffs and stage presence influenced everyone from the Beatles to the Rolling Stones. But Berry was notoriously difficult and stingy. He refused to tour with a backing band to save money. Instead, he would show up at venues and play with local pickup musicians he had never met, and he wouldn't even rehearse with them. Keith Richards, who idolized Berry, got so annoyed working with him that he walked off the stage in the middle of a song during rehearsals. This happened at Berry's 60th birthday concert. Berry was indicted in 1959 for transporting a 14-year-old girl across state lines for immoral purposes. The case revealed a pattern of inappropriate behavior with minors that continued throughout his career. Later allegations were even more disturbing. Berry allegedly installed hidden cameras in women's bathrooms at his Missouri theme park. This voyeuristic behavior showed a complete lack of respect for women's privacy and dignity. Despite creating the template for rock and roll, Berry's personal behavior tainted his legacy. The pioneer of rock music was ultimately revealed to be a selfish, predatory individual who hurt vulnerable people. At number 15, we have John Lennon. John Lennon was the creative force behind the Beatles, the most influential band in music history. Through songs like Imagine, he became a symbol of peace, love, and understanding, often seen as a spiritual leader for a generation. Yet behind that public image was a far more troubling reality. Lennon openly admitted to being violent toward women, including his first wife, Cynthia. He once said, "I was a hitter. I couldn't express myself, and I hit. I fought men, and I hit women." His treatment of his son Julian was equally harsh. Those close to the family recalled Lennon striking Julian over minor things, even though the boy's manners were described as better than average. He once famously said that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, which showed how big his ego was. During his Lost Weekend, an 18-month period of heavy drinking, drugs, and chaos, Lennon's worst behavior came out. He was often violent, throwing glasses at waitresses and getting into bar fights. Despite singing about a world without possessions, Lennon became increasingly obsessed with money, status, and control. At number 14, we have Courtney Love. She is the lead singer of the band Hole and was married to Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. Songs like Celebrity Skin showed she had real talent despite all the drama. But her life and career were full of chaos, struggles with addiction, and public breakdowns. In the 1990s, Love was known for erratic behavior interrupting award shows, throwing makeup at Madonna, and lashing out at rivals. Her most infamous moment came in 2011 during a festival in Brazil when she erupted at a fan holding a picture of Cobain, accused Dave Grohl of taking food off her kid's table, cursed the crowd, and stormed off stage. Love was also violent and unpredictable. She punched Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill, got into fights with audience members, and was arrested multiple times for disruptive behavior, including urinating in trash cans and verbally abusing flight crews. Her legal troubles were constant and humiliating. She attacked her boyfriend's new girlfriend, caused $100,000 in property damage, and faced numerous lawsuits. Her treatment of daughter Frances Bean was reportedly neglectful. Frances even filed restraining orders against her. Love spent years in bitter legal battles with Nirvana's surviving members, publicly insulting them and suing to control the band's music catalog. Her wild social media accusations targeted everyone from Billy Corgan to Britney Spears. While some sympathized with her struggles and Kurt's tragedy, Courtney Love's impulsive, aggressive behavior made her one of rock's most notorious figures. Coming in at number 13, it's Billy Corgan, the creative genius behind the Smashing Pumpkins. He led one of the most successful alternative rock bands of the 1990s. His layered guitar sound defined an era with albums like Siamese Dream and Melancholy and The Infinite Sadness. But while his talent was undeniable, Corgan's ego and need for control made him extremely difficult to work with. In the studio, he was a perfectionist, often re-recording his bandmates' parts himself. This caused major tension and public feuds with members Darcy Retzky and James Iha. and even drove drummer Jimmy Chamberlin to leave. Guitar tech Billy Howardell recalled that Corgan threw guitars at him and treated him terribly, calling the experience traumatic. Corgan often acted like a misunderstood genius, making arrogant remarks about fans and other musicians. Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips once called him a raging asshole, saying many artists still avoid him. His relationship with fans wasn't much better. He criticized those who preferred the band's early music. Billy Corgan's talent shaped a generation, but his attitude made him one of rock's most notoriously difficult figures. In 12th place on our list is Kanye West. He's known for revolutionizing hip-hop and reshaping modern rap music. Albums like The College Dropout and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy are considered modern classics, and for more than a decade, his influence on music and fashion was undeniable. But the genius who changed the sound of a generation also unraveled in public. Much of the controversy centered on his behavior toward his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. West harassed her new boyfriend, Pete Davidson, and turned their private issues into public drama, using social media to pressure and embarrass Kim throughout their divorce. His ego spiraled out of control. He demanded to be called a genius, took credit for work he didn't do, and surrounded himself with people who only agreed with him. West faced massive backlash after making anti-Semitic comments, which led to him being banned from social media and losing major business deals. Adidas and other brands cut ties, collapsing his billion-dollar fashion empire. Even longtime fans turned away as his hate speech became impossible to ignore. At number 11, we have Vince Neil. He was the pretty boy frontman of Motley Crue, a band famous for its debauchery, but his reckless behavior had truly tragic consequences. Vince Neil lived the rock and roll lifestyle to its fullest, but his actions have had devastating real-world impacts. Back in 1984, Neil was driving drunk with his friend Razzle, the drummer of the band Hanoi Rocks.